even spherical. It could be flat for all we know. We've never been high enough to see the curvature of the Earth. I've got this thing with my brother at the minute, my older brother. So he's a flat earther. So he's a big fan of that Mark Sargent. I don't know if you know who he is. Mark Sargent's like the leader of the Flat Earth Society. We've had him on our British television on GMTV. And Philip Schofield was trying to denounce him and tried to ruin him, but he was too clever. He's come across really, really well. And if you try and prove that the Earth is a globe and prove that it's spherical by shape, you basically fail. I've failed for like 18 months trying to prove to my brother that the Earth is not flat, so I've given up now. So I'm not a flat earther. I don't think the Earth's flat, but I also don't think the Earth's round. I don't think it's a globe. I'm like on the fence. Until I go high enough to see it and see the curve of the Earth, I don't know where the hell we are and what we're on. For all we know, it is flat. For all we know, there's a firmament dome that separates the waters, like it says in the Bible. But all these images from NASA, all these CGI images, fake space images that they've got, I ain't buying any of that. And that space station as well, it looks dodgy to me. They're hanging up on harnesses making out they're floating. Don't look right. But
I definitely think we're not being told the full truth. There's no doubt about that.
When did the government ever tell us the truth?
Never.
When did they ever tell us the truth? Look at all the conspiracies. I mean, we could go on forever. We could go into 9/11. We could go into the illegal war in Iraq. You know what I mean?
I just think that when it comes to, I'm really fascinated because I'm open-minded. I'm not somebody who's asking a question and is going to be closed-minded about it and not take into consideration the facts that you could possibly bring to the table. I'm definitely not that person. So
Let's challenge all your listeners. So I'm going to do this on my podcast at some stage. I'm going to challenge my listeners to just tell me why the Earth's a sphere, just so I can give it to my brother. But I've asked a couple of people I know, and I know some very intelligent people. I've met some very clever people, like people who are almost, well, I think one guy is a rocket scientist. His dad's a rocket scientist. I won't mention the guy's name, but his dad's a rocket scientist. He's so clever. And I've asked him, I said, get hold of your dad. I can wait, I don't mind, and just prove to me that the Earth's sphere. Just tell me one or two reasons that I can now go back to my brother and say, listen, Lee, shut your mouth, you're talking bollocks, the Earth's definitely a ball. And lo and behold, nothing that I've not already seen or heard. Fake space CGI images, fake NASA stuff, pictures from the blue moon.
I have two questions.
Curvature, no measurable curvature. You can't measure any curvature. You're supposed to lose, the curve is 8 inches per mile squared. So if you travel a mile, you lose about 8 inches. Yeah? You know what 8 inches is roughly, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know why that's made me laugh. But you lose 8 inches per mile squared with a curve. So there's certain things you wouldn't be able to see in the distance. If you zoomed into them, they'd be disappeared behind the curve, but they're not. They're still there, like the San Francisco skyline. And then on your news channel, they said, "Oh, that's a mirage. You can't really see it." You know what I mean? That was one of them, where you can see the San Francisco skyline. You can see all the buildings. And then they went on that news channel and said, "That's not really there. That's just a mirage. It's a angular reflection, or whatever they said, and it's because of the heat and the light and whatever." And the image isn't there, and people are like, no, I'm zooming in with my Nikon P1000 camera, zooming in, and I can see it, it's definitely there. And if the Earth was a ball, if it was curved, it would be too far away, because it'd be hidden behind the curve. So research Flat Earth, and let me know what you think, because it's so interesting.
I'm definitely going to, because like I said, I'm open-minded. However, I don't believe in it. From what I've seen, I don't believe it. From what I can gather, I believe that we do live on a planet, a circular planet at that. However, I do have two questions that maybe you can answer for me based on what Lee's told you. Yeah, Number one.
I can answer any Flat Earth question, any one you got in the world, because I've had it for 2 years.
Okay. So
Number one
is, if the world was flat, or if where we live is flat, would we not hit the end, or would the water not fall off?
No. So on the Flat Earth model, the waters are contained with the Antarctic. So we think at the minute on the globe, theory, I'm going to call it, that Antarctica is its own continent at the bottom of the Earth, and it's quite a big continent, it's huge. Flat earthers have Antarctica around the outside circumference of the flat Earth. So imagine Earth as a plate, like a plate, and the ice wall is all the way around the outside edge of the flat Earth, and that contains all the oceans and all the waters. And here's an interesting bit. If you go to the ice wall, which you can do, you can go to Antarctica. If you want to explore beyond the ice wall and go any further and have a look and go to the end, guess what? You're not allowed. There's a treaty. There's a treaty signed by 52 or 50 nations to say you cannot explore the South Arctic. Antarctic Treaty. Have a look it up. It's on Wikipedia. No, it's a fact.
That NASA also, whether or not this supports that theory or it supports another theory that I have, that I also believe that there's the possibility of the inner Earth. So there's the flat earthers, the inner earthers. There's a whole list of people. But
the reptilians, the lizard people as well.
I just know that NASA actually edits the photos, and when they edit the
photos. Every single picture of Earth from space is CGI. It's computer-generated images because they say it has to be. So they take a satellite allegedly and fly around the Earth and take loads of different images, and then they compose an image out of all this data. They don't have a picture. The day that I can go up high enough and get my iPhone out and take a picture of the spherical Earth and see the curve, that's when I believe that we're living on a spinning ball. A lot of people don't know the heliocentric model either. I nearly said geocentric model because that's another model, but the heliocentric model is where the sun's in the middle of our solar system and we rotate around the sun. So it takes us a year to get around the sun, 365 days. But a lot of people don't know and don't understand what we're actually supposed to be living on. So did you know, for example, that the Earth spins at 1,000 miles an hour? It spins around at 1,000 miles an hour. Did you know that?
No.
Right. So that's a day. It takes 24 hours to get around. That's one day. It's also, whilst it's spinning, it's also rotating, so orbiting around the sun. And it takes 365 years to get around the sun. That is a year. Did you know that?
Yeah.
You did know that? Okay. Do you know how fast the Earth has to be travelling to get around the sun in a year?
How?
Do you know how fast? 666,000 miles per hour. Just so happens to be 666 as well. So we're spinning at 1,000 miles an hour and we're shooting around the sun at 666,000 miles, as well as shooting through space. So we're spinning, orbiting, and flying through space in ever-expanding space. I might have got my math wrong, my speed wrong on that. The last one might be 666, actually shooting through space. But we orbit around the sun. Think about how far the sun away is. They're telling us how far the sun is away. Do you know how far the sun is away?
No, can't say at the top of my head.
So it's supposed to be 93 million miles away. So the sun's 93 million miles away. That's what we're told. And we go around we go around the sun. We orbit the sun. So think how fast we must be travelling and spinning and shooting through space. Yeah, every time you look up at night, you see all the same star constellations. And they're supposed to be hundreds of millions of miles away, light years away.
Well, you don't always see the moon, though.
Yeah, but forget the moon for now. The moon's orbiting within our closed system. The moon's supposed to be closer, and the sun's supposed to be a lot closer than what they're telling us in the flat Earth model. But think about all the stars. You look up, you can see all the stars. Orion's belt. You can see all the different star constellations. I don't want to name them all for you, but you can see all them. If we're spinning and orbiting and shooting through space, why can we still see the same stars every night for the last 2020 years? Why aren't we leaving them behind?
You said that it goes for one day. You said.
I don't think you're going to be able to answer that, and I don't think this podcast is going to get that straight. the angle you wanted to go on. People just need to research flat Earth. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm a flat earther because I'm not a flat earther. But it's very, very interesting when you look into it. And just a few points I've made. A lot of people don't know how fast we're supposed to be spinning and orbiting and shooting through space. And the stars are keeping up with us, and they look the same every night. And they rotate the same every night and come back every day. And there's a lot, I think there's a lot more going off than what we're told, or maybe a lot less. We're told that we're an insignificant speck in the middle of the cosmic web, and we don't mean much. So just go to work, pay your taxes, do as you're told. You know what I mean? I'm not sure about that. I think there's more to it. I think maybe there is a creator. I think maybe there is a God. I'm not a religious person, but you know, human beings are special, and I think Earth is a special place. Mm-hmm. And there's lots of unanswered questions that I'd love to know, and maybe one day we'll find out.
Hey Fi fans, it's Michelle Joy Phelps. If you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, make sure you go ahead and do so by clicking this icon right here and hit the bell button so you can get notified every time we upload a new video. And we also have a free app available on iTunes and Google Play, so make sure you go and download that. Bye Fi fans.